Hello, everyone. This is Eric with PotStocks.com. Today, we are here with Peter Sessa of Common Bond Collaborative to discuss the status of the marijuana industry in the great state of Florida. Pete, first and foremost, thank you very much for coming on to talk with us today. It's great to have you to get your information on Florida.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be on your program.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. So, very first thing we're going to get into, just to kind of dive in, where is Florida in relation to our main measuring stick in the country right now, Colorado, as far as the marijuana market is concerned?
Well, there is very, very, very small legislation on the books here in Florida for low THC, high CBD strains to be produced here in Florida and distributed. However, those regulations haven't been put in place. All we have is an act on the books. So technically, there is something, but it's very, very, very limited. So we don't look at ourselves as a medical marijuana state. The last time we had the opportunity was last year when there was a constitutional amendment on the ballot, needed 60% to pass, and we only got 58.
Okay. Is this kind of like a getting your feet wet sort of thing for the state, do you think? There seems to be decent, as well with everywhere else in the country, movement forward. Do you feel that Florida is going in that direction?
Yes, absolutely. I think that Florida is going to go in 2016. We'll probably have something on the ballot then if something doesn't get done beforehand. We'll probably have something very similar to what you see in a Colorado or maybe an Arizona model, as opposed to something that you're seeing with the super restricted stuff that's going on in Chicago and New York. While we think that it was moving that way for a while, I think that we're seeing a little bit of a pullback from that heavy regulation because of how the regulations are just hindering the business and hindering it on the governmental level by creating all this red tape and all this room for legal wrangles and things like that. So hopefully it won't be as complicated and the barriers to entry won't be as high as in the newer states.
Okay. Well, having said that, actually creates another interesting question there. As far as the economic landscape and social is another huge thing, the populace of the state of Florida, because I'm in Michigan, and while there's a lot in the dense populated areas that are very much for statewide legalization, the rest of the state, it can be a bit miry. Do you feel that Florida is in a good position to be moving into the markets, not necessarily from just strictly a business sense, but what is your take overall on where Florida is there?
Well, I think that Florida is going to be a huge, huge medical cannabis market. You have in Florida is a couple of things that come together. One of them is an aging population of baby boomers that readily accept more than any other senior group cannabis as medicine, especially as an alternative to a lot of the harder medications that a lot of them are on. You have, Florida, you have, your Miami, and you have your kind of more rural areas, so that are more like, the South. So you definitely have your mix in Florida, which is why it's a swing state. But at the same time, you have an argument being made for medical cannabis use on both sides of the table, where you have a very strong, libertarian presence here in Florida, and it's very much about states' rights and personal responsibility. So when you have something that really hits on both ends of the political spectrum, I think that you're really going to see some movement here in Florida, especially as we see the economic benefits of it. And when you talk about the economic benefits of it, you got to remember Florida is an agricultural state. We grow oranges, we grow blueberries, strawberries, and those crops are suffering right now. So the people with a lot of influence, right, the people that are the farmers. So cannabis and hemp are very much on their radar.
Excellent. That's actually I'd never considered that. Obviously, coming from Michigan, where and actually I guess Colorado as well, because the agriculture there is not nearly as popular, and here we do a lot of that too. So that's something that I'd never really considered before, which is a super interesting point that I absolutely would like to see a little bit more information come out on, because that's a very, very valid point. On that note, what do you think investors and potential entrepreneurs have to look forward to in Florida? I know that I believe your income tax laws are a little bit different than the rest of the country.
Yeah.
Is there anything else going on there that potential investors can look forward to?
Well, the reason that we're here in Florida, one of the reasons, aside from living here, is the potential for this state is huge. It's the number one tourist destination in the world. And we're seeing the population just past New York. So we're the third most populous state, and it's well positioned. When we're in Tampa, we have a port over here that's just been dredged. The Panama Canal has just been dredged. So when you're talking about import export of the hemp trade, this is an ideal location. Fourth lowest cost of doing business in the country, and it's Florida. It's beautiful. So it's really a really great place to have these businesses. And a lot of businesses already are here that are serving the cannabis industry that don't necessarily touch the plant. BioTrack THC just picked up another contract for New York, and they're based out of Florida. M. Hardin, you'll see them, their brand in dispensaries all over Colorado, based in Florida. So Florida is already seeing economic benefits from the cannabis industry. And now what we're going to see in Florida is the benefits in the actual state. People are actually going to see what these benefits are, and not just economically, but on the patient side as well.
Excellent. It's nice to see the cross-state synergy as well moving in there, because I know that if you're touching the plant, things get really, really mucky there. It is nice to see that there is some framework being built and a lot of groundwork that's going down between states and everything. Just because with Colorado, what's going on in the states around it right now can be so touchy, I guess is the best way to put it.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you very much, Pete. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on here. The information's been absolutely invaluable. Everybody go to www.cbcgo.com. Head over there and check out Common Bond Collaborative. And as always, please go to www.potstocks.com. Check out all our other videos on YouTube and head to our web forums. Everybody have an excellent day and stay in the green. Okay.